What's up, everyone? It's Marion with Restoring Ghettos Forgotten, and I'm here with a short conversational piece about why we keep picking the same mates over and over again. So if you haven't done so already, please click and subscribe on my YouTube channel for more real talk videos, and I'll jump right into it. This is a topic that has been important to me for such a long time, and it's something that I'm finally trying to get right in my own personal life, and that so many other women and men are trying to get right. And so we're constantly, well, I know I am constantly going to counseling, and I'm reading books, and I'm praying, and I'm asking God to heal me and purge me of things, some things that I don't even know about, so that I can be the best version of myself. And so I find myself going back and rereading these books, and one in particular that I often read a lot is this one, and it's called Save People. And this book says how to find relationships that are good for you and avoid the ones that aren't. It's by Dr. Henry Claude and Dr. John Townsend. This book was given to me years ago by one of my counselors. I had just lost my mother, and I was going through a new relationship. I had just lost my mother, and I was having a very difficult time at getting those things figured out. And so I went to grief counseling, and I also went to another more personal counseling, and just to try to figure things out. And so, but I still ponder that question: why are we still either attracting the same people, or why are we attracted to the same people? And it all goes back to, for me, it's an inner childhood injury that happened way back in my youth, that happened way back in my childhood. And I think many times than not, if we're all honest, these issues stem way back from our childhood, and they're unresolved, and some of them are unhealed because we tuck them away and we don't like talking about them. And those are things we don't talk about. I remember one time I was at this middle school one time, and I was actually having a public speaking engagement, and I engage my students, and I engage people, and I ask questions, and then I asked a question, and then one little girl said, "We don't talk about those things. We just don't talk about them." And I thought about that, and I said, well, okay, fine. But then I thought about that even in adulthood, there's certain things we just don't talk about. And if anybody challenges you to that, if anybody's trying to get you to acknowledge some of that, then that's the person that you stay away from, because that's something you just don't want to deal with. You just don't have the time to deal with it. You don't want to deal with it, and you want to keep it hidden and tucked away. Well, guess what? Scars, they will not heal when they're covered. They have to be uncovered. You know, sometimes we burn ourselves. We can't put a Band-Aid on it because it needs to be, uncovered, so the nutrients of the sun and the oxygen can get to it and it can heal it. Well, that's the same way with our traumas and our experiences in our past. We have to uncover those things, no matter how painful they are and how bad they look and how bad they may seem to other people. We have to get those things uncovered so they can actually start to heal, so that we can become better people and stronger people and better versions of ourselves, so that we can actually walk in our purpose and be used in this life, in this lifetime, to make a contribution to this life. We all have a responsibility, and we can't do that half healed or in denial or not healed at all. So that's what this video is about. It's making us go back to our inner child and thinking about, where are we still fractured? Where are we still damaged in that? What wrong needs to be righted in order for us to progress and be better people and help more people? That's our number one goal. I believe none of us should be re-injuring each other. If I can't help make you a better person, then I don't need to be around you. If you can't help make me a better person, then you don't need to be around me. We need to help each other evolve. So that's what this video is about. It's us identifying where we're still fractured and where we need to still do our work, because doing our work is very important, especially when it pertains to us raising children. Because what we do is we hand that same dysfunction down generation after generation after generation, and then we expect our children to actually do something with their lives. And preposterous. It's like, how do we expect for them to do something when we haven't even addressed something? Like, some of us are in our 40s and 50s, and there's still some childhood traumas that we haven't addressed yet, that we still haven't talked about, that we're still holding on to, and we're still hurting other people. Hurt people. We got to stop hurting each other, you guys. We don't have a right to do that. So it's time for us to heal. It's time for us to talk about our childhood traumas and our disappointments and our abandonment issues and our trust issues, and be real about it. And we got to work through those trust issues, because I feel like sometimes God will send us people so that we can work through something that they've already worked through. Maybe they can help identify some things that you're still holding on to. Instead of you becoming defensive, maybe you can hear them out. I know many times than not, like even with one of my friends, one of my closest friends, I remember her saying, after I was on the phone with her, you know, I guess month after month, or it was so frequent that she recognized that it was an issue of mine, and she said, sis, I really think that's something that's your problem. I think you really need to go talk to somebody about that. And instead of me getting defensive and say, you know, how dare you? None of us are perfect. You can't tell me what I need to do and what I need to fix for myself. Because I trusted her and she's always been kind to me, I really thought about it, and I said, you know what, you're right. I think I do need to go talk to somebody about it. And so I did. And I fixed that part about myself, because that's what it's all about. It's all about growth. It's all about identifying the people that really care about us, and they really want to see the best in our lives, and not necessarily to benefit us, but so that you can be happy and complete. And so it's imperative that we make sure we're also surrounding ourselves around positive people that we can trust, so that when they do come to us with something like that, we don't think, well, they're just trying to tear me down, or they're just trying to point out my flaws. No, they actually love you, and they actually see the potential in you, and they actually see where you're hurting, and they just want you to heal, because they don't want you to keep re-injuring yourself and re-injuring other people, all because somebody told you not to talk about what happened to you as a child. I felt like people that don't want you to tell your story, they should have been a lot better to you. You don't owe them that privacy to ruin your life. And the crazy thing about it is that some people know, and I'm talking about people in our families, let's be real. Some people know why some people do the things that they do. Some people know why some people are destroying themselves. Some people know why some people are on a self-destructive road, and they won't mention it. They won't talk about it. They'll just say, oh, that's their fault. That's their decisions. No, you know what happened to that woman when she was 5, when she was a little bitty girl, when she was 4 years old, when her uncle molested her. You know what happened to that young woman that watched her mother be beat on every single day. You know what happened to her. Don't try to act like this woman is on the street smoking dope. This woman is doing all these things to self-destruct just because. You know why those people are doing the things that they do, but because there's so much hush hush in our communities, nobody can heal, because we got to keep it all in. Heaven forbid if we actually talk about it so that we can heal. It wasn't the time until I could not heal and become a better person and begin to start in my work until first of all, I had to tell my story. God asked me to tell my story. I had to tell my story, no matter how uncomfortable it was and how painful it was. I had to tell my story. That was the first part of my healing. So I had to tell my story, and I had to acknowledge and be accountable for all the bad choices that I made. And I had to be unapologetic for my truth. And it wasn't until I did those things that I couldn't heal. I was in this self-destructive mode where I couldn't heal because I was keeping it all in. And that will destroy you to your core, and I'm telling you that now. And then the people around you, they'll know why you are the way that you are, but they don't care because they don't want their secrets out. But guess who it's destroying? It's not destroying them, it's destroying you. It's time for us to let that stuff out, y'all, and let it go. We got to heal that trauma, all that trauma that we've been carrying around since slavery. A lot of the abuses that we experienced, even in our own families, came from our slave masters. It was handed down from them down to our grandparents, and then their parents, and then their parents, and then we're handing it down, and then we keep handing it down. We hand it down to our kids, and they're going to hand it down to their kids, and nobody's healing. Instead of us going back to the source of where it all started, and us talking about it, and us going to counseling, and us working it through, and getting healthier and whole, you know, we're uncovering those scars because we're tired of suffering. We're uncovering those scars because we're ready to evolve and become whole, healthy people. That's why we need to uncover our scars and talk about it. It's okay to go to counseling. It doesn't mean we're crazy. It just means we want to be whole and healthy. We're tired of all the stress. We want to be able to smile and be free and have a happy soul and not kill ourselves, because stress kills you. Like, people prematurely die because they're anxiety stricken, they're stressed out, they have so much trauma in them, they can't relax. It kills our people every single day. It's time for us to heal. So that's what this video is about. It's about recognizing in our lives where we are our own poison, and a lot of that comes from us not addressing childhood inner injuries that still exist until we address them and do our work and heal from them. We have to forgive the people that wronged us and hurt us, but we cannot not talk through it. If you don't want to tell your family, you got to tell somebody. You need to go find you a counselor, somebody that you can trust, that you can go talk through your issues, and that they're going to teach you. If they're good counselors, they're going to teach you techniques on how to reprogram your brain and your subconscious thoughts, how to develop healthy thoughts, how to release all that trauma and that anxiety and that stress so that you can be the best version of yourselves. You have to do that, along with trusting God, praying to God, asking him to purge you of the unrighteousness and all the toxic behaviors, and replace it with his truths and his promises, and reminding you of your identity and your purpose, along with going to get mental health so you can learn those techniques so that you can be stronger and have a powerful mind, so that you can actually go out and help other people that are going through some of the things that you've already been through. That's our responsibility. Not to hide what happened to us until it kills us and puts us into an early grave. This is the real talk part of my video, because a lot of people don't want to address their issues. You don't talk about that. You don't tell people your business, especially men. You don't cry about what happened to you. You man up. Guess what? All that man up is destroying him. And you're okay with it because it's protecting your family's secrets. See, I've been the black sheep and I don't care, because I'm free. God delivered me out of my story. I told my story, and I'm okay with that because it freed me. And now there's some more people need to tell their story so that they can be set free. So I'm done. I wanted to say that. I'm outside of where I live. Please forgive me. My allergies. I promise you, I'm allergic to planet Earth. I come outside, I can't breathe. I'm like, oh, I can't breathe. Where's my Vicks Vapor Rub? But that's why I'm sniffing, because I can barely breathe. I'm under all these trees with all this pollen. But I'm finna get off of here. I just thought I wanted to talk about it. And I find myself, like I say, going over this book a lot. And where I find myself falling short is that in my childhood injury, most people know my story, but in my childhood injury, there's somebody that I deeply loved that because of his own traumas, he traumatized his family, and he self-medicated, and he's still self-medicating, and he's killing himself. He's destroying himself, and he's isolated himself from his family. He can't see his grandchildren. He can't see his children because he's still angry and bitter, and he's holding on to a lot of family secrets. So I find myself struggling in that, because when I see people like him, I want to help them. I want to love them past their pain. And that sometimes hurts me because I can't. I can't do it. They have to do it for themselves. They have to at least start and try. And so this book helps me because it helps me recognize the people to avoid. But think about it. Even if there are people we are to avoid, what if God avoided us? The broken, the disenfranchised, the abandoned, the abused, the molested, the raped. All of those. What if he abandoned us? Okay? Where would we be at? So it's hard for me to distinguish between somebody I should not deal with or somebody that I should pour into. So that's where I struggle. And this is my truth. I'm telling my truth. I know my worth. I love myself. Yet there's a childhood injury that tells me if somebody would have went back and helped this man that was in my life, maybe if somebody would have went back and helped him tell his story and told him it was okay for him to tell his story, perhaps he would have healed enough to where he could have been a better role model and to be a protector over his family versus a person that traumatized his family. What if he would have had that person? So that's where I struggle, because when I see these different types of people and their behaviors, I can recognize it because I've been through it my whole life. From as early as I can remember, I know the tendencies, I know the pain and the anger and the anguish that they try to tuck in and they self-medicate, and it makes me want to try harder. But then I realize I'm not God. I can't, and I know I can't heal anybody, but when do I stop struggling in that area of my life, or know when to stop trying to help people that's not going to help themselves? So that's my truth. That's my little testimony for the day. And so we have to fix our childhood injuries. We have to go back and deal with them. We have to do our work so that we can be healthy and whole and be better people, so we can help other people. So I'm done. I hope that I made sense in this. I wanted to get this message out. I need to go inside. It's been a very long day, but I always want to pour into my people because I honestly do love my people. I love all people, but I absolutely love us because I believe we've been through some stuff and we're still here. We're the most resilient people on the planet. And I believe that once we allow ourselves to actually tell our stories more and to heal and go back and heal that inner child, we're going to be better and better. We're going to be a stronger people. We're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And it's just, God's going to get all the glory. He's going to be edified in it. That's what it's about, because we're going to be healthy. We're going to thrive. We're no longer going to be surviving. We're going to actually be thriving in our whole lives. And so that's my goal from my people and myself. And I love you guys. I hope that you got something from this video. And even if it helps one person, then I've done my part. God told me to tell my story. I told my story and it set me free. Although I'm a work in progress, I realize that I really do believe I am set free, and I am free indeed. And I want that for you guys. Always remember to love God, love yourself, and love others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.